is 4 Against Darkness. Now, this is a very simple D6 RPG. It has a feel that reminds me of the Moldvay basic set. And to a degree, I really feel that this is the homage that it's looking to pay off. You know, it's literally a tip of the hat to the Moldvay basic D&D system. You're not going to find a mix of races and classes. No. Dwarf is a class, elf is a class, fighter is a class. Just like the old basic game. It uses the D6 and only the D6. So that streamlines down so much as far as rules and combat goes to make the game more accessible. A lot easier for a new RPGer to learn and get into than necessarily jumping feet first into Dungeons and Dragons. Now, this game is called 4 Against Darkness for a very specific reason. You do need 4 characters. Not players. You need 4 characters. You can run multiple characters if you need be, or you and your buddy, there's only 2 of you, where you can each use 2 or 3 and 1, however you divide it up. But there's always going to be 4 heroes represented in the game. Now, without getting too much into it, yes, if you know the game, stop typing. I know there are certain classes that are allowed as a 5th member of the party. There are a few like the Wilderness Survival Guide, the Oracle, the Elder. There's a few of them like that. But generally speaking, no, this is a 4-character game. And this is a drawer game. You know, you roll the dice and that determines the dungeon that you're in. Is it a corridor you come up to? Is it a room that you come up to? Is there a door there? And then you roll on the chart and you determine what's in the room. It is very heavy a chart game. It calls back to those old RPG games that were barely a step beyond wargaming. So they were chock full of just chart after chart after chart. And 4 Against Darkness does that without making it overwhelming. It's not overwhelming at all. Well, what you have to roll in the charts, and they're very short and they're very simple because they're based on D6. Sometimes D12, well not D12, but 2D6. And sometimes D66, using the 6-sided dice similar to the way you would use 2 10-sided dice as percentage dice. And with those ways of using a 6-sided dice, it covers everything. If you're looking for a quick game that's going to get you and your buddies, or just you, down into the dungeon, kicking in some doors, killing some monsters, stealing some treasure, or even getting into a little bit of a campaign, because they're not all hack and slash murder hobo games here. There are some adventures that get a lot deeper than that, but you can play it either way. And this is going to be a good, quick system for you to get down to the table and get your RPG fix. Now, the other title is very similar to this. It's called Marching Orders. This is also another 4-player fantasy kind of dungeon delve game. It uses the charts to help simulate everything that you need to randomize, just like the previous title, 4 Against Darkness, that I mentioned. Now, the game is a little bit more adult, and you know, I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention both of them because they're so similar, but you know, Marching Orders is geared more towards the adult that still has a sense of humor like an 8th grader. Dirty. You know, a little bit tough, a little bullying. Sure. That's a bad word, John. You can't say that. No, the game does have a little bit of a sense of that. It is an overly tough game, and I don't mean that by the encounters. I mean, the game itself has attitude, has bite that you don't find in most games. It is geared towards 17, 18, and older for that very reason. It gets a little bit dirty, but it's more, I think, it's more violent than dirty, actually. It's more insulting. It's more, comes off, like I said, like a bully. While 4 Against Darkness comes off like a great old school RPG, basic D&D run and feel to it. That's the main difference really between these two. Also, there's There's a way in Marching Order for you to play with 3 players, because there is an NPC fourth player that if you need, it's kind of like a training dummy that just goes around with you and gets in the way of the monsters and stuff. It's a uniquely odd and weirdly nice addition to the game, having this training dummy just roll around after you. Both games are heavily supported. Both games, 4 Against Darkness has a hell of a lot of books and even more PDFs that aren't in a physical book form that continue growing the game, growing the characters, growing the monsters, growing the rules. And now, although this is newer than 4 Against Darkness, I've been seeing the same thing with Marching Orders. And in fact, besides the core game, I do have a set of 3 of sort of modules for them. And now there's something else coming out. And actually, the publisher reached out to me to get some more material. The publisher had reached out to me to begin with this title, and I'm really glad they did because it is so much fun. So I got to remember, I got to get back to them and tell them, yes, you got something new. I'm at the same address. Please send it here. I'm sure I'll enjoy it, and I'll definitely make some videos about it. I like this. I like making the videos. So those are 2 games. If you're looking for RPG-style influenced homage board games, hybrids, really, not even a board game, but not really an RPG exactly. It falls somewhere squarely in between. Then these 2 titles, 4 Against Darkness and Marching Orders, are 2 games that you most definitely need to get more information on. Watch some playthroughs. Watching a playthrough is a great way to determine whether you're going to like a game. A lot better than listening to a talking head influencer that's paid to tell you one thing or another. Make sure you get your own information on 4 Against Darkness and Marching Orders.